Hello, hello. I'm back. I am so sorry I missed an upload last week. I just had too much on my plate, but you know what? We're here now and we have another WWKD submission, so let's get to it. Hey, I just found your channel and I love it. What advice would you give to somebody who is in their early 20s who basically has no friends? I am introverted, tend to isolate myself, have trust issues. By the way, I related to your video, feeling like a floater in high school. Not sure how people keep close friends, to be honest. Thank you for reading. So first I want to start with, I think it is amazing that you have the self-awareness to identify some pain points. I don't want to say problems because everyone has stuff they need to work on. So you have the self-awareness to say, I'm an introvert. I have a tendency to isolate myself, and you have trust issues. That's awesome. It is awesome that you are aware of those things and that you can identify specific things you need to work on. Because once you're aware of what you need to work on, then you can actually put in the work and effort to work on it. Does that make sense? You can't work on something you don't know. So you've listed those specific points. Now you can create a plan of action of what do I want to be instead? How do I get there? So you mentioned that you're introverted. I want to tell you to use that to your advantage. And what I mean by that is, growing up, I used to think of myself as an extrovert. I was always wanting to be around people, socializing. I fed off of the energy. And as I've gotten older, I now feel like I lean more introvert. However, I feel like a lot of people who are introverted would agree with me on this, in that you can become an extrovert when you're around the right people. When you find the right people, they're going to bring out the energy in you. They're going to bring out the personality in you. You're going to feel like you can say anything, do anything, be yourself. You're going to feed off of their energy. You're going to have fun. And most importantly, I think this is why they bring out this side of you when they're the right person. It's because you feel safe enough to be yourself, to be outgoing, to be energetic, and to have fun. But also you feel safe enough to say, hey, my social battery's done. I'm ready to go home. Or, hey, I don't want to do anything today. I just want to be in your company, but I don't want to do anything. I just want to chill. You feel safe enough to say, yes, I want to do things, but you also feel safe enough to say, hey, I don't want to do things. Today's not a good day, or I'm just done socializing. And I think that's the key. That's how you can use your introvertedness as like a sign as to whether or not someone is a good fit for you, because of what they bring out in you. You say you have a tendency to isolate yourself. Obviously, this is all I have to go off of, so I don't know what your history is or why you do it, when you tend to do it, but I would say identify those things. Why do you isolate yourself? Is there a pattern as to when you isolate yourself? Do you become uncomfortable around certain situations? Is it around certain personality types? Is it around certain people? What is the pattern that causes the isolation? Once you identify it, then you can kind of start catching yourself in the moment of like, hey, I'm doing that thing again. And you can correct yourself in whatever direction you want to go. Trust issues. Here's the thing. I think it's safe to say a lot of people have gone through some sort of variation of trust issues, some more than others. I know with the idea of trust issues, it might come off as you trusting other people. In my opinion, I feel like it's learning to trust yourself again to make the right call, but also trusting yourself that even if you do make the wrong call in trusting someone else, that you develop the coping skills to pick yourself back up and move on. I think that's where a lot of people struggle with having trust issues in others. They lack the trust in themselves. And the thing is, you have to accept that you're going to make mistakes. You're going to judge someone wrong. Someone you thought was a good person, someone you thought was a friend, might turn out not to be. Someone you thought wasn't a good person, that isn't a good friend for you, could actually have been a great person, and you could have had a great relationship with them. It's just that you didn't give them a chance for whatever reason. It goes both ways, really. And I feel like it's more of a matter of relearning to trust yourself, because you break that trust within yourself when you lose that trust for others, because now you've conditioned your brain to think, oh my God, I misjudged whatever about this person. They broke my trust. How can I trust myself to make a good judgment call again? How can I trust myself to pick the right people to place my trust in? So I think it's honestly more of a regaining trust in yourself rather than regaining trust in others kind of thing. I'll be honest, I don't really know how to help you with that. I don't know what to tell you other than I feel it's something that I feel like you just really have to look deep down inside yourself, and it's something you have to come to terms with within yourself and say, hey, I made a bad judgment call or whatever happened to make me lose trust in others. I know what is good for me now. I know what I want. Maybe I will occasionally make some bad calls about people, but I know how to pick myself up. I know how to move forward. I know how to cope with it. It's really a matter of figuring out, honestly, a lot of different things about yourself, not just trust. It's learning what you want, learning what you need, learning what you provide in a relationship, what your role in situations. But ultimately, I do think it all comes back down to you. It's an internal self conflict that needs to be resolved. And I think once you gain that sort of confidence in making the right call again, and the confidence of, even if I do make the wrong call, I know how to move on from it. I think once you figure that out, then you will naturally start to trust others. You already know this because you submitted this and you read the form. The form says, I'm not a professional. This is just what I think. This is just what I've kind of gathered throughout the years when I have done some self-awareness, self-improvement, personal development thinking, okay? But that's just my opinion. Losing the trust in others, not trusting others easily, I think it is more of a sense of you aren't trusting yourself. In terms of not having friends, I think you just got to meet people. I don't know if you've seen it, but the very first WWKD submission video was actually about my take, my advice on how to make friends if you move to a new city. I think all of those points are still very applicable to anybody who hasn't moved. And basically, the biggest thing is just putting yourself out there, going to places where you can meet people. What are your hobbies? What do you like to do? What are places you frequent? And just start getting to know people. You know, if you go to the same coffee shop, just start saying hi to the baristas. You know, you might have the same barista who works that shift, and you can just start making conversation with them. Or you can just start talking to anyone who's working that shift, and people will start to get to know you. That's honestly how 90% of anyone I know currently has come to know me, mainly through the gym. Like the front desk people, I always say hi to them and we start talking. They start getting to know me. They start seeing me with my husband. They see other regulars interact with me. Other regulars have started to get to know me. They approach us, they say hi. And it's just a matter of building that level of comfort, that foundation of familiarity, of becoming a familiar face to them, as well as they becoming a familiar face to you. So you just got to slowly build up that foundation so you have that comfort of talking to them more and more. Or you can just go for it and approach somebody with a friendly smile and say hi. A great way to initiate conversation is to compliment somebody. You just got to put yourself out there. That's really all it is. Put yourself out there, build that level of familiarity with somebody, and you just got to nurture the relationship. And honestly, friendships, any relationships, you're playing the long game. And I feel like saying it that way kind of makes it sound manipulative or something, but it is the long game. You are trying to build a foundation of trust. You're trying to see what similarities you have, what interests you have that might coincide, what they can teach you, what you can teach them. They're just building blocks to it. And it really is playing the long game when it comes to making new relationships, which I think you mentioned. I'm not sure how people keep close friends, to be honest. And I would say people become close friends and people keep close friends because they have built and established that relationship. And I feel like that's something so many people forget, because when you feel like you don't have friends and you see TV, you see movies, you read it in books, you see other people around you with in like little cliques and giggling and laughing and joking, you feel like, how is it so easy for them? How did they make friends so quickly? And I would say the true relationships, the the closest, most genuine relationships are built gradually. Now, there's always going to be those exceptional people where you hit it off like that, okay? Like you guys were just meant to be friends. You were meant to be in each other's lives. It was just a matter of you guys meeting. I will say there are exceptions. I have a friend like that here. One of my gym bros, him and I are like such good friends. Him and my husband are such good friends. My relationship with him is different from his relationship with my husband. Honestly, him and I bicker like siblings, and my husband is just like, oh my God. But that is our relationship. We have our dynamic just as much as he has his dynamic with my husband. And we have our dynamic as a trio and in our group, because we have other people in our group. And it's just like, there will be people that will come into your life and you're just like, oh my God, where have you been all my life? There will be people that come into your life and you're just like, this is so easy. Everything is so easy with you. I can joke with you. I can say whatever I want with you. And you don't judge and I don't judge you. And we have the same humor and we have the same interests and we have the same, I don't know, we like the same foods. Everything will be so easy. And then you will have people, you will have relationships where it takes a little bit more work. That doesn't make it any less special. That doesn't make it less valuable. It just means it takes a little bit more work. And I think both relationships, both types of friendships are valuable for you. Sometimes those people will come into your life super easy, super quick. Sometimes it's going to take some effort to find them. And you said, how do people keep close friends? Keeping them, once you find those people, keeping them is where the true test is. That's where you really need to be mindful and put an effort into that relationship, just as they need to as well. Because I think for most people, it'll naturally come where it's like, okay, this is an important relationship to me. I want to make sure I put an energy towards it and maintain it. But sometimes you might have to remind yourself. Admittedly, I am a very out of sight, out of mind person. I know that about myself. So I have to remind myself sometimes to be the one to reach out and be the one to put an effort, because I just, out of sight, out of mind, man. I also know though that my friends who are in other states, because unfortunately all my best friends live in other states, they are also aware of my out of sight, out of mind, but they know I work on it. They know I work on it. We both know that we're all adults now. We have busy lives and we're in different states. So that as you get older, it is a matter of making sure you put in time and energy into the relationships that matter to you, but also being mindful that as adults, we all have stuff going on. We all have different priorities. We all have different lives. And it's a matter of being understanding while putting an effort also on your part. I really hope you found something in this video helpful, and I hope anyone else who is watching can find something helpful in this video. I will say this is the last WWKD response video of the year, mainly because this is my last WWKD response that I currently have. So if you have seen any of my other response videos in this little series and you've liked the advice that I've given, or you like my take on things, consider submitting something. And it doesn't have to be about friendships. I know a lot of people have come to my channel because of, like you mentioned, my floater in high school video. I am not necessarily trying to be a friendship channel. I don't even know what kind of channel or niche that is. It's not that I don't think friendships are important. They are very important, which is why I wanted to bring that topic onto my channel. But I'm open to anything, relationships, self-improvement, like personal dilemmas. I don't know. If it's something I can't understand or feel like I can give proper advice on, then I just won't. Because again, I'm not a professional. I'm just giving you what I think is a logical piece of advice. I am so glad you found my channel, and I really appreciate you putting in this submission. It really means, honestly, all of these submissions, it has meant a lot to me that people have been willing to trust me with their situations. I know that it is a lot easier to open up to strangers on the internet sometimes, to spill your guts to tell your problems to, because at the end of the day, all you have to do is shut off whatever device you're using to talk to them and they're gone. But I don't take it lightly. If you have ever considered submitting, or if anyone who has submitted in the past, I do not take it lightly that you have decided to give me a chance to try and help you in whatever way I can. I just want you to know that. And again, I may not be able to because I'm just a normal person, but I'm going to try because I care. If I can help one person, then that's all that matters to me.